And then on the screen, Lance, you were sort of the 2,000 years, 2,000 years, 2,000 years. And this move with church and business and the culture. What do you see as a progressive leader is going to be happening in the next few years with this whole move? There's going to be a transformation, a change in that.
So what do you see is going to be happening in the next several years is from the glasses of a progressive leader?
In half the time of a normal answer.
That's a progressive leader.
A progressive leader, doing it in less time. I think, I'd be interested in hearing what thoughts to say, because he has to actually flesh it out with real people. I'm a professorial type. But here's what I'm seeing. Small is the new big. David is about to show up where Saul was tall in Israel, but could not deal with Goliath. I think that David is going to be, in the era of megachurch, microchurch is going to be the new hero. And microchurch is going to be the small gatherings within spheres, like Daniel in Babylon, Joseph in Egypt. It'll be people with sphere authority who have spiritual credentials to exercise authority at the gates, spiritually. And I think that guys like Bill, Bob, Harris, and me, I think our job is going to be to give early endorsement to what the Father's doing in these spheres so that we can come alongside and help them be sphere champions. And that means taking the influence and the prestige and the social capital we have and spending it to endorse and support and pour into these small apostolic groups that are going to be in key locations, in key industries. This is why it takes so much energy to keep a Hollywood actor from backsliding, or a Nashville reporting artist from falling off, into out of the kingdom. It's because we treat them like celebrities needing a relationship with a pastor instead of raising them up as micro church people with a cohort group of their own peers.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm sorry, he took your time. No, go ahead.
I think the church is broadening, and even though we're meant to have a narrow path, I don't think we should have a narrow mind. Most believers are so narrow-minded they can see through a keyhole with both eyes. And I think that we got to broaden our thinking. I would say that, like Jerusalem, the heavenly Jerusalem has 12 gates on it. Gateways into the city. And inside the city is the temple. And I think the church, really, it's got one gate, and it's only open between 10 and 11 on Sunday mornings. And I think we've got to have a whole lot more gates. And they don't necessarily lead right into the church or the temple, but they actually get people into the environment. So we have things like Christians Against Poverty, which is helping families in our city not lose their home. So we get next to them. We offer the services in the community. These people are getting foreclosed on by the bank. We send in a financial guy, and he organizes their cash flow, consolidates the loans, and starts tithing, gets them to start tithing. And then they invite them to come along to church. We have had family after family after family, like scores of families, join the church through that one gate. Then we have food banks, where people who are struggling with weight issues because they can't afford organic good foods, because they can buy $5 at McDonald's, and they just all got all kinds of illnesses and sickness. So we helped this woman out who wasn't a Christian. We call them community heroes. And she was giving out food to these people, and through that we get involved and just start talking to them about Christ. But they're in the city, in the environment, and then they find their way to the door, Jesus, of the temple. And so I think if the church can include these. Now, for a lot of pastors, they've been very small-minded, and they think, I'm the only ministry around in this church. And so when a strong woman rises up and says, I got some free teaching for women, he says, well, not around here. So she pops over the wall, and instead of becoming a gate, builds another little thing over here called women's ministries. Youth do the same. Over here, youth ministry, children's ministry, campus. I won't say names, but it's like that. All of us can think of stuff that popped out of the church because of small-minded leadership. Instead of accommodating for each of these people to be a gate and in themselves be an access point into the kingdom, but without needing them to come all the way into the church in one big hit to do a journey with them. And I think our levels of cynicism are so high in our community right now that we've got to journey with people. You can't just expect the one-off hit. It's like having sex without knowing a name. You know, sorry, bad analogy. Not that any of us do that.
Cut that one from the...
Yeah.
That's an Australian expression.
It's like people want to have the ultimate experience without even getting acquainted. And I think Christians we've done that. And I think bringing them in, we run a school, we have scores of families come to Christ through that school. And so keeping ourselves alive in the community more and more. I think another thing about the future is that everything has to get younger. So half the world now is like young. Everybody who got born in the last 20, 30 years. I remember when I was a kid, there were 3 billion people in the world. Now there's 7 billion. In my lifetime, the world has more than doubled. So they're all going to be younger than 25. All the new kids who get born are born young. And so they're like half the world's under 25. And soon it's going to be half the world's under 15.
That's right.
So if we just let the church get old, we're going to lose relevancy.
Oh.
So most of the church plants that we do are done by kids between 18 and 25. Young men and young women who just go out there and start churches. And I totally agree with Lance. But small's the new big. And I think lots of small, though.
Come on.
Not just one or two little, but every suburb having a small in it. And then occasionally coming together for the big celebration.
Yes.
Feeling that we're part of something enormous, but then keeping small alive as well.
Excellent. Okay, next.